all of Hitler's black magic ritualistic ceremonies with thousands and thousands of people reacting to his every word, every move. She had the rings carved into a stone altar at the ancient Greek city of Delphi that spawned the myth that they were a symbol dating back more than 2 millennia. In Berlin. And they've come to symbolize the Olympics ever since. Now, what in the world would they ever hang on to a Nazi idea for? Unless, of course, they approved. And they do. I'll get to the first terrorist attack that involved the Olympics as the stage. Coming up on AM 640 Toronto Radio on A View from Space. Next up, I want to talk about the little rule changes that are coming up for touring on A View from Space. I'm Space, back with more on that.
For extreme times, this is A View from Space with the Spaceman. AM 640, Toronto Radio.
Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins.
Spaceman on AM 640 Toronto Radio, filling you in on some of the occult beliefs that have been embedded in the Olympics. Yes, the rings represent the 5 original planetary gods worshipped in Babylon. They are Jupiter, Marduk, Venus or Ishtar, Mercury, called Nebo, Saturn, known as Ninib to the Babylonians. So, as I was saying, these 5 rings were designed in 1913 by Baron Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the IOC. And I was saying Leni Riefenstahl, the one who did all of the propaganda films for Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, seeking to put his Aryan race at the top of the world. She had rings carved into stone, the ancient Greek city of Delphi, and started to spread the myth that they go back more than 2,000 years. And the Olympic Committee, Pierre de Coubertin, didn't take offense to a Nazi idea, and still is there today. The Olympic Oath. It was introduced in 1920. It says, "In the name of all competitors, I promise that we shall take part in these Olympic Games respecting and abiding by the rules that govern them, in the true spirit of sportsmanship for the glory of sport and the honor of our teams." If that was meant to be serious, I'm sorry. We just cannot accept that any longer with what we've seen from the athletes. An Italian medalist, by the way, took the oath at the Turin opening ceremonies for all. Also have to take an oath. One judge from the host country repeats a similar oath on behalf of all judges. Last night it was, of course, not a host country judge, but of all people, it was a figure skating judge. Unbelievable. It's almost like the politicians now. We know they lie. And it's accepted fact. So when we come back with the story, hey, he lied about that, we go, yeah, we know. They always do that. And it's accepted. Why? What about medals? Starting in 1896, silver was awarded the first place winner. Yeah. And starting in 1904, gold replaced silver for the first prize. Since 1928, gold medals have had the same design. Greek goddesses, Olympic rings, Colosseum of the ancient city of Athens, a Greek vase, a horse-drawn chariot, the year, the number of the Olympiad, and the host city. Each host city can then add to the front and also the design at the back of the medal. The silversmiths were the first Freemasons. They made the medal idols to the pagan gods. The Mandeans knew this craft, and they were taught it by their ancestors. When Islam arrived in Iraq in the year 636, they were forced to move from the cities into the southern Iraqi marshlands. In modern times, the Mandeans have since moved back to the cities, especially in Nasiriyah, Baghdad, Basra, where a lot of them still work as gold and silversmiths, ironsmiths, and boat builders. These Mandeans are also found in medium-sized towns between Baghdad and Basra. Some small groups of them even live in Iran, in cities like Avaz and Shishtar, in the southwestern corner of the country. Silver awarded first place in 1896 when the start of the games kicked in with Baron Pierre de Coubertin. Why silver? Well, the Reds created their banner in honor of Agag in ancient biblical times. Agag was the son of Amalek, who God cursed. Saul, Benjamite king, allowed King Agag to live, contrary to God's orders. So God dethroned Saul. Samuel later cut Agag in pieces, and Agag would become the martyr symbol of a double-headed silver brotherhood movement against God. The silversmith craft was organized to produce silver statues of false gods. These were later the silversmiths who drove the Apostle Paul out of Ephesus, stoned Stephen, and were responsible for the movement of Christ against him. They became known as the Synagogue of Freedom of the New Way, of Freemasons later. The New Way, you see, was the first name of the New World Order. Agag became their double-headed hero. AG. AG is how you spell Agag. And what's our scientific symbol for silver? I believe it's AG. Since silver couldn't be easily produced on cloth, shields, flags, or even wooden armor, it was substituted with white. So the banner of the Reds from Edom became half white and half red. The very flag color of the ones that have been causing all the cartoon Islamic problems. The Danes, or the Dans. When I see Denmark, I think Danmark. The mark of Dan. The tribe of Dan. The lineage of Cain. Is a cross or an X. Check it out for yourself. The flag of Denmark. Spaceman on AM 640 Toronto Radio. Back with more in a minute.
You're listening to A View from Space with the Spaceman, exercising the right to free speech while he still can. AM 640, Toronto Radio.
Spaceman, AM 640, Toronto Radio. Yeah, Agag, the double-headed hero. AG is how you spell Agag. AG is our scientific symbol for silver. Oh, by the way, the New Way later became the New Atlantis. Francis Bacon authored the book of the same name, claiming ancient records trace the beginnings of this movement to Solomon's temple. So, 1928, gold medals. Have had the same design, replacing the silver in 1904. The eternal flame, the original flame, burned continually on the altar of goddess Hera, Zeus's wife and sister. The flame was introduced in 1928 the Amsterdam Games, Holland, supposedly representing purity, endeavor for perfection, struggle for victory, and peace and friendship. It also symbolizes the light of spirit, knowledge, and life. In other words, Illuminati. Of which the Illuminati is also. Each level you ascend to is linked to what you know. The higher you go, the knowledge you possess, the higher level, the more you're in the know, in the loop. When you possess the knowledge at the highest level, as our so-called leaders do, you become a god. This is the religion of the people who are running our world. They feel entitled. They feel their bloodline gets them that.